Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to crack open Cryptonomicon by Neil Stephenson.
Oh, yeah.
It's going to be a wild ride.
I'm excited.
We're going through World War II code breaking and hidden gold, and there are even these shadowy figures that seem to defy time itself.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, so we've got some excerpts from the book, and I can't wait to hear what you think about all this.
Yeah, this is definitely a fascinating blend of history and technology and intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
What really strikes me is how Stevenson connects these seemingly completely disparate events and characters, like across time, right? You start to see how decisions made during World War II still have repercussions today, like in our digital age.
Exactly. It's kind of like the birth of modern cryptography during the war, with things like Bletchley Park and the Enigma machine.
Yeah.
You know, it really foreshadows our current struggles with data security and privacy.
It's almost like history repeating itself, but with different tools, you know? Stevenson really captures the tension of that era. Imagine mathematicians like Alan Turing racing against time to break German codes.
Yeah.
Knowing that lives are at stake with every single decryption.
Whoa, yeah, it really makes you realize that these weren't just abstract equations, but they were literally changing the course of history.
Totally.
And the novel also brings in that human element through characters like Bobby Shafto.
Yeah.
A Marine raider facing unbelievable challenges in the Pacific theater.
Shafto's story is really like a window into the grit and resourcefulness that you need to have in war.
Yeah.
But it also shows the moral compromises that soldiers are often forced to make.
Right.
This whole theme of moral ambiguity, it runs throughout the book, and especially when we jump to the present-day storyline and meet characters like Avi.
Yeah, Avi, the mastermind behind the Crypt, this data haven in the Philippines.
Yeah.
He's such a fascinating case study. He's brilliant. He's driven. But there's a darkness there, too. Is he a visionary or a potential tyrant?
Ooh, that's a really good question.
Yeah.
And I think that Stevenson deliberately leaves that open to interpretation.
Right.
Avi's desire to create a digital economy free from government control.
Yeah.
It is compelling, but there are potential downsides.
Right.
Who gets to control this new world and at what cost?
Exactly.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds me of those debates we have today about the balance between privacy and security and who should have access to our data.
Yeah.
It's fascinating how these themes from the novel resonate so strongly with contemporary issues.
Absolutely. And it even goes deeper. Stevenson introduces this concept of Pontifex, a post-war crypto system that was literally designed to be unbreakable.
Really?
Yeah, it makes you think about the struggle for control over information, whether it's military secrets during wartime or financial data in our digital age.
Yeah, and the novel doesn't just like present the technology in a dry textbook way.
Right.
He weaves it into the narrative, showing how these advancements impact the lives of these characters.
Oh, for sure.
For good and bad.
Exactly. He even dives into like the nitty-gritty of cryptography.
Yeah.
But he does it in a way that is surprisingly engaging.
Okay.
Like take one-time pads, for example.
Yeah.
They're essentially unbreakable.
Wow.
Because the key is only used once, you know? Making it impossible to decipher the message without it.
Makes sense.
It's a really clever concept, and it just shows how much thought Stevenson put into these technical details.
Absolutely. And speaking of thought,
Yeah.
there's this other layer to the novel, the one with Enoch Root.
Oh, yeah.
This mysterious figure that keeps popping up throughout history.
Yeah.
He seems to know everything and be everywhere,
He does.
which adds this whole element of conspiracy and hidden agendas to the story. What do you make of him?
I think Root represents that enduring power of information and the way that it can be used to manipulate events.
Like a puppet master.
Yeah, like a puppet master pulling the strings from the shadows.
Wow.
And his presence suggests that maybe history isn't as straightforward as we think.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
It definitely makes you wonder who's really in control.
Right.
We see governments, corporations, and these shadowy organizations all vying for power.
Yeah.
With information as like the ultimate weapon.
Exactly. And then there's the gold.
Oh, yeah, the good.
This hidden Japanese war treasure adds another layer of intrigue.
Right.
And it highlights the lengths that people will go to for wealth and power. The search for this gold becomes like a metaphor for the pursuit of power in the digital age where information is the new currency.
Yeah, it's like Stevenson is drawing this parallel between physical treasure and the intangible wealth of data. And he sets the stage for this global treasure hunt with vivid descriptions of locations like Intramuros.
Yeah.
This historically significant city in the Philippines that was tragically destroyed during the war.
The destruction of Intramuros is a powerful symbol of the lasting impact of war.
Yeah.
And how it can completely reshape entire landscapes, both physical and societal.
And speaking of landscapes, the Sulu Sea plays a key role in the novel as well.
Oh, yeah.
It's more than just a setting.
Right.
It's strategically important, and it becomes this focal point where past and present collide. It's like Stevenson is hinting that there are secrets buried beneath the waves, just waiting to be uncovered.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's almost like the Sulu Sea is holding its breath, concealing the echoes of wartime actions and the secrets they left behind.
Right.
You know, it connects to Goto Dengo, a character who really embodies this whole complexity of the war's impact. He starts out as this Japanese soldier tasked with hiding gold.
Right.
But faces unimaginable hardships that really test his morals.
Yeah, his story really stuck with me. You see how wartime choices can lead to these like rippling consequences affecting not just individuals, but like entire nations.
Yeah.
He goes from soldier to prisoner of war to ultimately this powerful figure in post-war Japan.
Wow.
It really makes you wonder about like the hidden stories behind those like official historical narratives.
That's what I find so compelling about Cryptonomicon. It reveals those hidden currents, you know, those unexpected connections that really shape the course of events. Like how Dango's path intersects with Bobby Shafto's years later.
Oh, wow.
Forming this bridge between their wartime experiences and the present-day quest for that hidden gold.
Yeah, it makes the past feel so present, so alive.
Right.
And then there's the character of the dentist.
Oh, yeah.
Who initially seems like this benevolent figure.
Yeah.
He's connected to the crypt.
Right.
This haven for data and freedom. But as the story unfolds, you start to see this darker side to his motives.
The dentist is a brilliant example of how Stevenson uses characters to explore moral ambiguity.
Yeah.
Like, is he driven by altruism or a desire for control? Yeah. His actions raise questions about the potential for corruption, even in these seemingly utopian endeavors, like creating this digital safe haven.
It makes you think, like, could even the best intentions go awry when power and technology are involved? It's a question that resonates with, like, the anxieties we have today about the unchecked influence of tech giants and the potential for surveillance in our increasingly digital lives.
Exactly. Stevenson seems to be asking us to consider those parallels.
Yeah.
And then there's that scene at the Manila Hotel.
Oh, yeah.
Where Shafto encounters these reminders of his past amidst the ruins of war.
Yeah.
It's such a poignant scene. It highlights the enduring trauma of conflict.
That scene really stayed with me.
Yeah.
It's like the ghosts of the past are literally woven into the fabric of the city.
I know.
And later, when Randy describes Manila's chaotic traffic as a nightmarish, snowballing technological fuck-up.
Yeah.
It's hard not to see the connection.
It's such a striking analogy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It captures that feeling of being overwhelmed by technology, of losing control.
Right.
Stevenson seems to be warning us about the potential for our own innovations to create chaos and suffering if we're not careful.
And then there's Randy's own journey.
Yep.
He starts out as this brilliant, but somewhat naive programmer, drawn into Avi's world of cryptography and data havens.
Right.
But as he gets deeper, he starts facing his own ethical dilemmas.
Yeah.
Especially when he uncovers the true nature of the dentist's operation.
I think Randy's struggle reflects the challenges we all face in navigating this increasingly complex technological landscape.
Yeah.
Where do we draw the line between innovation and responsibility?
Right.
How do we ensure that technology is used for good and not for control or exploitation?
Those are tough questions. And I appreciate that Stevenson doesn't offer easy answers.
I agree.
He presents these complex scenarios and kind of lets the reader grapple with the implications. Then there's that tense scene in that deserted Tokyo restaurant with Randy and Avi meeting Goto Dengo.
Right.
That atmosphere is so thick with unspoken agendas and the weight of history.
It's masterfully done. You can feel the tension radiating off the page. And then Avi reveals his personal connection to the Holocaust. Wow.
And it changes everything.
Right.
Suddenly his motivations become so much more complex.
Yeah.
Driven not just by ideology, but by a profound sense of justice.
It adds a whole new layer to his character.
For sure.
And really drives home the point that the past isn't just something we read about in history books.
Yeah.
It shapes our present, our values, our actions.
And that the pursuit of truth, whether it's uncovering hidden gold or understanding the traumas of history, can lead us down these unexpected and often challenging paths.
Cryptonomicon doesn't shy away from those challenges.
No. it doesn't.
It dives headfirst into these complex topics like cryptography and data security. But it manages to do so in a way that's engaging and even entertaining.
Stevenson has a knack for making these technical subjects accessible without, dumbing them down.
Right.
He explains things like the Enigma machine and one-time pads in a way that makes you appreciate the ingenuity involved.
Yeah.
The constant cat-and-mouse game between these code makers and code breakers.
And he connects it all to our current world.
Showing how that same race is playing out in the digital realm,
right,
with hackers and cybersecurity experts battling it out in the virtual trenches.
It's like he's saying that the players and the technologies may change,
yeah,
but that fundamental struggle for control over information remains a constant throughout history.
It's a timeless theme.
Yeah.
And then there's that fantastic scene where we get a glimpse into the minds of Alan Turing and Lawrence Pritchard Waterhouse.
Oh, yeah.
As they're discussing this potential weakness in the Japanese code.
Their conversation is fascinating.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
It shows the dedication and mental gymnastics required to break these complex codes.
Yeah.
You realize it wasn't just about brute force.
Right.
It was about understanding patterns, recognizing human fallibility.
Yeah.
And sometimes just like a stroke of brilliant intuition.
It's a reminder that even in the age of computers, that human element remains crucial. And that same human element is at play in the present-day storyline, as characters like Randy and Avi wrestle with the ethical implications of their actions.
Right.
And the potential consequences of their pursuit of knowledge and wealth.
It's like the novel is constantly asking us, what is the price of progress?
Yeah.
And who bears the burden of those consequences?
Exactly.
But then there's this whole other layer to the story with Enoch Root.
Oh, yeah, Enoch Root.
This enigmatic figure who seems to possess this almost supernatural level of knowledge and influence.
Root is such a fascinating character. He appears throughout history, dropping these cryptic clues and offering these insights that just leave you wondering, what's his game?
Right.
What are his true motives?
And his connection to the church's land holdings above Golgotha, where that Japanese gold is supposedly hidden.
Yeah.
It adds another layer of mystery.
It's like he holds the key to unlocking the secrets of both the past and the present.
His presence suggests that there are forces at play.
Yeah.
Beyond the immediate concerns of the characters.
Yeah.
Hinting at a deeper, maybe even conspiratorial level to the story.
For sure.
It makes you question, is anything truly as it seems?
Right.
And who are the real puppet masters pulling the strings of history?
I think those are exactly the questions that Stevenson wants us to ask. He challenges us to consider the complexities of power, the hidden agendas that might be shaping events, and the enduring influence of the past on our present.
And he doesn't just focus on the big players.
Right.
We also get these glimpses into the lives of characters like Julieta, the woman who helps Bobby Shafto navigate post-war Europe. She's a survivor.
Yeah.
Who's forceful and resilient, navigating this world in chaos.
Her story highlights the impact of war on ordinary people, those who often get lost in those grand historical narratives.
Yeah, and then to add another layer of intrigue, we learn about her connection to Enoch Root.
Oh, yeah.
Like Stevenson is weaving this intricate tapestry, connecting characters and events across continents and generations. You start to realize that every detail, every seemingly insignificant encounter might hold a clue to unraveling the larger mystery.
And as the story progresses, you find yourself questioning everything you thought you knew.
Right.
Who can you trust?
Yeah.
What are the true motives behind these grand schemes? And what will be the ultimate consequences of the choices these characters make?
So before we head into the final part of this deep dive, take a moment to consider what stands out to you about Stevenson's portrayal of the lasting impact of war. And how do you see those themes of morality and technological advancement playing out in our own time?
Yeah, it's incredible how Stevenson weaves these individual stories into the larger tapestry of history, showing how personal choices can have these far-reaching consequences. Makes you think about the ripple effects of our own actions, how they might shape the future in ways we can't even imagine.
And he doesn't shy away from the potential for those consequences to be negative.
Like, take that chilling scene where Randy discovers the true nature of his imprisonment in the Philippines.
Oh, yeah.
It's a stark reminder of how technology can be used for surveillance and control, turning a supposed utopia into a dystopian nightmare.
Yeah, that scene was unsettling for sure.
I know, right?
You made me think of those real-world examples where governments and corporations use data to manipulate and control people.
Yeah.
It's like Stevenson is warning us about the dangers of unchecked power in the digital age.
Right. And he contrasts that with Bobby Shafto's experiences during World War II, highlighting how the nature of conflict and control has evolved.
Okay.
Back then, it was about physical force and territory.
Yeah.
Now it's about information and access.
It's almost like the battlefield has shifted from the physical to the digital realm.
Yeah.
But the stakes are just as high, maybe even higher.
Absolutely. And in Cryptonomicon, information becomes the ultimate weapon.
Right.
Those who control it, whether it's governments, corporations, or shadowy figures like Enoch Root, hold immense power to shape the world.
Speaking of ingenuity,
Yeah.
I loved that scene where Randy uses his laptop to send Morse code messages
Oh, yeah.
right under the noses of his captors.
So clever.
It shows that even in the most technologically advanced environments,
Right.
human creativity and determination can find a way.
It's a classic underdog story, isn't it?
It is.
It reminds us that even when the odds seem stacked against us,
Yeah.
there's always a way to resist, to
Um,
fight back, to
yeah.
reclaim our agency.
and then there's the whole mystery surrounding the gold-punched cards.
Oh, yeah, those were so interesting.
It's like a puzzle within a puzzle,
Yeah.
hinting at a deeper level of encryption and hidden knowledge.
Those cards felt like a metaphor for the way that information is hidden in plain sight in our world.
Yeah.
It makes you wonder, like, what secrets are encoded in the data that surrounds us every day, and
Oh.
who holds the keys to deciphering those secrets?
It's a fascinating thought, isn't it?
It is.
And it speaks to the idea that knowledge is power.
Mm-hmm.
Those who can decode the information, those who understand the patterns and the connections,
Right.
they hold the real power in this new world.
Exactly.
And then the climax of the story, the discovery of Golgotha and the Japanese gold.
Oh, wow.
It's like all those seemingly disparate threads finally come together,
Yeah.
and the weight of history crashes down on these characters.
That scene is both epic and unsettling.
Yeah.
You have the helicopters, these religious figures gathered to pray,
Right.
this vast fortune unearthed after decades.
It's crazy.
It's a powerful reminder of the enduring influence of the past and how it can suddenly resurface and reshape the present.
But amidst all that chaos and spectacle,
Yeah.
there's also this beautiful moment of human connection between Randy and Amy.
Oh.
Their relationship, which has been simmering throughout the novel,
Mm-hmm.
finally comes to fruition in this moment of shared vulnerability.
It's like a ray of light amidst all that darkness. A reminder that even in a world obsessed with power, wealth, and secrets,
Right.
human connection can still prevail.
Yeah. Their love story offers a glimmer of hope,
It does.
suggesting that maybe we can find meaning and purpose even in the midst of chaos.
That's a powerful message, especially in a novel that explores such complex and often unsettling themes.
Yeah.
It reminds us that ultimately it's the human element that matters most.
Right.
The choices we make, the connections we forge, the values we uphold.
Mm.
Those are the things that truly shape the world.
And that's what makes Cryptonomicon so much more than just a thrilling adventure.
Totally.
It's a reflection on the human condition,
Yeah.
a challenge to think critically about the role of technology in our lives, and a call to action to protect the things that make us human.
Absolutely.
So as we wrap up this deep dive into Neal Stephenson's Cryptonomicon, we leave you with one final thought-provoking question to ponder. What happens to hidden information when technology evolves? Think about the implications for personal privacy, government control, and the future of freedom in a world increasingly defined by data.
It's a question that resonates deeply in our own time.
It does.
And Stevenson's novel provides a framework for exploring those complexities. The answers ultimately lie within each of us.
Yeah.
The choices we make today will shape the world of tomorrow.
Right.
So choose wisely.
Remember, the world of information, technology, and power is far more intricate than it appears.
It really is.
And with that, we encourage you to explore Cryptonomicon for yourselves and delve deeper into these intertwined narratives.
It's a great book.
Until next time, keep diving.